Hi, JK Dean.
Hi mate, yeah, all good, yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you very much. So a little bit of a break. You're back in action on Saturday. Squad must be raring to go.
Yeah, can't wait. It's obviously a difficult time at the minute with everything that's going on for everyone, I'm sure. So it's no different for us either. You just want to get back playing.
It's been a difficult time, of course, with the positive tests around the club. How have you found the experience? How worrying has it been for you as a player to see a lot of your teammates test positive for this virus?
Yeah, well, it's obviously worrying. Obviously, it's obviously from what the government have said, if you're young and you're fit and you're healthy, then fingers crossed. Obviously, you should be okay anyway. You might obviously feel a little bit rough, so it's nice to see the boys obviously overcome it and come back in. But it obviously just puts it into perspective of how easy it is to possibly get it.
Over the last couple of weeks, what have you personally been doing? What have the squad been doing? Have you been given fitness plans to carry out at home?
Yeah. So everyone at the club, obviously, they text us all what we have to do by day, and obviously we've got to tick it off to try and keep ourselves ticking over before we came back in.
Obviously, through the main lockdown period back in March and April, you were finding ways to having to keep fit. Have you found it hard to get back into that frame of mind over the last couple of weeks, given home working and home training, or has it been something that you found easy to get back into?
No, not at all. I think as footballers, we kind of have that every pre-season, if you like. Before we come back in, we're at home, and you might have a couple of weeks off, but naturally most people will start really doing their own stuff to make sure that they come back to pre-season in good shape anyway. So I think we're a little bit more, it becomes a little bit more natural to us.
Knots withdrew from the FA Cup, postponed a couple of league games.
Yeah.
Was it frustrating for you, sat at home seeing other games in that division in the FA Cup taking place, knowing that there was a high probability that a lot of the players playing that weekend may be COVID positive or the like? Was it frustrating that other clubs aren't taking the steps that Knots are taking at the moment?
Yeah, obviously as players you want to be playing football and you want to play every game, and obviously it's extremely good. Our owners are doing everything they possibly can to keep everyone, not just the players but everyone, staff included, around the ground safe, and foremost as well the other team safe as well, because obviously if we're not sure ourselves and we play against another team, then obviously that's a big worrying factor as well. So it's obviously frustrating, like you said, but it's also the right thing to do from the club.
Finally, a football club and the squads are all together, and I want to talk about this kind of new world that we live in. The fact that the social element of things has been taken away, which is really, really important for footballers, and the work off the field and the friendships made off the field. How have you found coping with that in this virtual world that we're living in at the moment?
Yeah, slightly difficult. It's just different. Like you said, it's all about adapting as everyone is across the board. Obviously, footballers normally, if you have pre-season, you normally have a little get together or something where you start to get to know your teammates a little bit in a different environment instead of just the training pitch. So as players, you kind of take it on yourselves now. Well, we already have done that. Obviously, we've been together a while now, but beforehand, when you first signed, to really take time to get to know people around your squad and sit with different people, etc. If you're in the hotels, we share with different people from time to time. So we're getting there. It's just very different, and like you said, you just got to adapt to it.
And Aldershot on Saturday. We'll talk about the football. Of course, it was disappointing against Maidenhead, but there were so many different factors at play in that game. And beforehand, you were on a great run. I'm sure you're all very keen to get out on Saturday and lay a marker down once again.
Yeah, like you said, obviously it's disappointing the result and how it happened, considering how we played in the first half. Obviously, it feels like that's a while ago now, but first and foremost, we want to get back to winning ways. Performance as well, we want to get back out there and play. We want to play how we play, and the work that we've done during the week has been positive. It's been good, so we can only look after what we can look after, fortunately.
Wish you all the best, Jake. Thank you.
Nice one, thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Lee.
Afternoon, Jake. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, surviving, mate. Keep me head above water. I just wanted to ask you about COVID. I mean, you're probably sick of hearing about it, as we all are, but away from football, Jake, just how difficult is it as a player when, obviously, I imagine you live away? What's it been like for you personally as an experience with family, etc.?
Yeah, it's been extremely tough, to be honest. I have a very, very tight family unit back home. I've got an older sister who's got her own little family, and I've got a younger brother also who's obviously still at parents because he's still at school. So that's been difficult not being able to see them really, and not to be able to see them how you'd want to. Being able to just go around their house and pop round there as you would normally do on a day-to-day basis. So that element of it obviously has made it a little bit tougher. But on the flip side, it's also you've got to be clever and be careful of what you're doing.
So how have you dealt with that? I mean, especially with the players as well. I mean, I know you can't have get-togethers like you normally would do. Are you having Zoom quiz nights or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. I think we see enough of each other at the minute. We're in all the time. But no, like I said earlier in the previous conversation, where it's just about adapting, and I think obviously with knowing that we can't have little get-togethers and stuff like that, I think everyone's put it on themselves to maybe have that extra conversation a day with someone that they might not be really close with, just so everyone can get to know each other a little bit better.
And in terms of the testing, and I know this has been a big debate, but as a player yourself, and obviously hundreds, thousands of players across the country, do you think testing should become mandatory?
Personally, yeah. We've all got families. At the end of the day, I've got a little boy myself, and I want to make sure that if I'm going home to him and my missus, I want to make sure that they're safe. And on the flip side, I've got very elderly grandparents, and they unfortunately can't do stuff around the house themselves and need help. So when someone of the family has to go around there, it's nice to know that at least I know I'm safe, and I know I've been tested that week, and I can go and do that, obviously at a socially distance, and obviously wiping things down if you touch them and wearing gloves, etc. But like I said, everyone's got families, and you want to make sure priorities first is everyone safe.
And going into games, I'm interested in the mindset, because obviously players are going into games with having it and not knowing they've got it. Does it affect players when they're going into games? Is it something that you think about, or is it as soon as the whistle goes, that's it?
Well, for me personally, no, you don't think of it. Like I said before, we're quite lucky in the fact that we've got owners that are doing testing, so at least we know ourselves. Obviously, we can't vouch for other clubs and what their players are doing or what their clubs are doing for them. But at least we know that we're good and we're ready to play. Everyone's going to be safe with us. But then, like I said, once you come into the building at 1 o'clock on a Saturday, your mind's solely focused on the game. It doesn't change.
And let's move on to the football now. Raring to go, I imagine, after a couple of weeks off.
Can't wait. Yeah, can't wait. It's been quite frustrating. I can't believe we've only played 5 games now, and it seems mental. You normally play at least double of that by that time. So having the week off and not being able to play the games has been quite frustrating as a player personally. But like I said, obviously the right thing to do by the club.
Have you been keeping an eye on the results, because the division seems to be wide open, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think we're finding that in all leagues, right up to the top. I think it's made it slightly different, obviously with no fans. Obviously that takes it away from the bigger clubs, and then also it's so weird in terms of how the games are structured at the minute, and having games so frequently. And obviously if you have a couple of players that drop out through illness, or you have a couple of players through COVID, and you're playing on, etc., I think it does make it a little bit more interesting.
And how would you assess your own form since coming into the club? You must be fairly happy, I would have thought.
Yeah. I'd take what's happened so far. To be honest, I still think there's more to go from me personally, and equally from the team as well. So, it's one of the reasons why we're quite frustrated, because we still think we've got more gears to click into individually and collectively. So yeah, but so far I'm quite happy.
Brilliant, mate. Lovely. All the best for Saturday, mate.
Nice one, mate.
Thanks, Lee.
Cheers, Lee.
Oh, hi Jake, nice to meet you. How you doing?
Hi mate, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Good stuff. Yeah, good, thank you. Just a few follow-up questions from what Alex and Lee have already asked, really. I'm just interested, we've spoken about your thoughts on your own start to the season. What have you made of the club's start to the campaign?
Yeah, good. Ideally, we'd like to have won all our games, and I think when you look back on it, we should have. If we're being brutally honest. Sloppy goal at Dover, a set piece, and we actually had, I couldn't count how many chances we actually had to actually kill the game off really in the first half, even in the first 20 minutes, to be honest. So that was quite frustrating. And obviously, to drop points how we did the last game we played, a freak goal, that the third one, that probably is never going to happen again in the season. And obviously, set pieces, really. Take that aside, as a team, I think we're quite happy with what we're doing so far. I think we're playing quite well, playing nice football as well. but we're also creating chances, which is the main thing. If we weren't creating chances, obviously you'd be worried. But I think, yeah, it's exciting times for us, I think.
Do you think it's just a case of ironing out those small little details in order for a really successful season at Meadow Lane?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like I said before, we've only played 5 games. I know it feels later on in the year, but we've only played 5 games, which is crazy. So it's still relatively in the season. It's still early days, and there's still a lot for us. As always, if you're going to be successful in a season, that you try and iron out very, very early. The good thing for us is I don't think there's that many issues that we do need to iron out to become successful. So hopefully we can do that the quicker, then obviously the better for the club.
And of course, the break that's just finished was born out of necessity because of COVID case among the players. But did it come at a bit of a frustrating time when it came in? Because of course, and like, as we mentioned, Notts County started pretty strongly, and the foundations that have been laid for this season look really firm. Yeah,
naturally. Like I said, bar the last result we just had, we actually still played quite well. But they made it difficult second half. But take that aside, we did play quite well. So it was frustrating that we couldn't then just go straight back to it, get back on the winning path, and put performance in. So we've had to wait for that, and hopefully we can put that in on Saturday.
I think we mentioned this a little earlier on as well, but how much of a relief was it to get to training this week?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, the club have done and made sure that everyone's safe and made every right decision so far. But it's always nice as obviously a player to get back training and running around.
Absolutely. And just finally, Aldershot away, of course, this weekend. What are you expecting from them?
Same as every week so far. I mean, the league showed us that teams are going to be difficult to break down. They're going to be difficult to beat, and they're not just going to. Even if you do get a couple of goals up, they're not just going to lay down. They're really going to fight for it and try and give you everything they can. So we're not expecting anything different this weekend.
Great.
Sorry.